A few weeks ago, we learned about the Fringe Festival.
Started in 1947, it is a festival celebrating the arts.
Though it started on the Fringe, it's now the largest arts festival in the world.
There are loads of plays, performances, and concerts. There are, in fact, over 3,500 shows this year, and that's apparently down from previous years' COVID times.
Alicia had the joy of going to Edinburgh on Thursday with one of our church members and got to experience the city and the festival first.
I was lucky enough to be invited to travel the day with Irene while her husband Gordon had a play date with a longtime friend of his. We did, however, start our day together. We met up to take a bus into Edinburgh to head down to our first performance of the day, Shakespeare, for breakfast. It was a little bit of a walk there, but the city was a stunning sight, so I couldn't complain. It ended up being a noir detective retelling of The Winter's Tale. This was this year's Shakespeare story brought to life. Audience members were served croissants and coffees to enjoy while watching the performance. Afterwards, before Gordon left, he and Irene managed to give me a mini tour walking through the old parts of Edinburgh. We walked past St. Giles, which is where, if you've watched recent news, where the Queen's coffin was held for the viewing in Edinburgh. We will be making a short video about that experience in the next video. Anyways, I was also shown nooks and closes that showed a mixture of the multiple eras of architecture working together. In addition, all the buildings that were renovated with great effort and care from the people of Edinburgh. When Irene and I were off on our own, the beauty and the rich history didn't stop. We saw Princess Gardens, the Jubilee Flower Display, the oldest pub in Scotland, cathedrals, memorials like that of Scotland's most loyal dog. The list goes on and on. I also did stop to buy a mug along the way. There was an art festival that we managed to dip in and buy a few things. All this was on our way to a play of mini plays. I can't remember the name of it, and I honestly was unable to find it in the list of hundreds of performances, but it was a very small showing with lots of passion about life and death. After that, we went to John Knox's house, where I had some tatties and neeps, or mashed potatoes and turnips, while we waited for the stand-up comedy Moira. This was a sequel comedy act to the previous years. I think it might have been the third one or fourth one, but it was centered on Moira, the character, making do during the pandemic. The best part of this was that it was all in Scots, which is its own language separate from English and Gaelic. But a good performer can tell a story, even if it's not in the words that you might understand. And it was really good. It was entertaining. It was a busy and packed day, but I was super excited to come back and spend the following day with Austin.
And so the following day, I got to go with her. We took the Ember bus down and started off our day right by visiting St. Mary's Cathedral.
We had managed to time it just right to show up for the lunchtime recital.
A French horn player, accompanied by a pianist, did a wonderful job.
It was truly an amazing place to visit and the perfect place to enjoy live music.
We then made our way across the city to our first show. 360 All-Stars. We weren't honestly sure what to expect from the flyers, which is pretty normal for the Fringe Festival, apparently. But the show wound up being fantastic.
They had specialists of all kinds that you can see on this poster image. Each one got to display their talent, and then they began to coordinate with each other, sharing talents and stage time together.
The music was a bit loud, but it was still a great show. And it was kind of fun to know that the show is taking place inside of Assembly Hall, which is where the Church of Scotland holds their General Assembly every year.
Immediately after the show, we didn't have any time to rest as our next show started in 15 minutes.
And it would take us 15 minutes to walk over there. We tried to move quickly out of the theater, but Alicia tripped and busted her knee because the lights weren't on yet. And I lost my sunglasses at some point in there as well.
We did manage to make it to the Black Blues Brothers as the show was just starting. They had been on stage for maybe a minute or two as we kind of snuck into the bleachers along the side.
It was an interesting show. It was a group of men from Africa who did floor gymnastics routines while there was blues music playing over the speakers on top.
It felt like it might have been their first major show or the opening day, as the performance aspect of it felt like it needed a little bit more work. But the gymnastics were incredible, great athleticism all around.
Once we had finished that show, we were pretty tired. So we headed out to grab a snack from the mini Sainsbury's and did some quick shopping at TK Maxx. Yes, you heard that right. And we went to sit down and talk about our day, eat a few snacks, and wait for our bus to go home.
All in all, our trips to Edinburgh, though brief, were great fun.
The city is truly vibrant and full of life, even though the bin men were on strike.
I look forward to our next adventure in Edinburgh.
And maybe next time, I'll get to visit the John Knox house too.
Cheers for now.
And we'll see you soon.